What if the prettiest places to live are the worst places to survive financially? The 10 cities everyone dreams about aren't just expensive, they're designed to keep you paying for the view. In this list, we map the illusion: perfect weather, iconic architecture, high-end amenities, and a value equation that doesn't pencil out. You'll see how the same features that sell the fantasy become the costs that crush families. Watch closely. The most desirable zip codes could be the most dangerous for your budget. Before we continue, hit subscribe so you never miss the latest updates. Number 1, San Diego. Endless coastline. So why are more buyers backing out at inspection in San Diego than almost anywhere in the state? Because the sun doesn't offset the burn rate. Well, the dream has a surcharge, and it hits the second you get serious. San Diego sells stability, defense paychecks, biotech labs, year-round tourism, and wraps it in ocean views from La Jolla Bluffs to North Park bungalows. On paper, that's bulletproof. In practice, it's brittle. Every layer of cost has accelerated, and the margin for error has vanished. The result is a brutal reckoning at the closing table. But in 2025, that power is collapsing. Insurers retreat or reprice coastal exposure. HOAS hit owners with special assessments to shore up aging stucco by the sea. Mortgage rates lock buyers into payments that punish. What looked like a forever home mutates into a monthly hemorrhage. You don't own tranquility, you rent it at a premium that only rises. Then comes the coastal convenience tax. Street parking near the water turns into a daily fight, so you pay for garages or tickets. Water bills jump as drought resilience pricing spreads, and conservation tiers bite faster. Microclimates punish comps. 2 miles inland means hotter summers and lower bids, while the marine layer zip code clings to a higher ask. The map itself is a price ladder. Inventory splits in two. At the low end, listings vanish and entry buyers compete for scraps. At the high end, price cuts stack up as affordability caps out, but carrying costs keep sellers pinned. Downtown luxury towers advertise concessions while workforce units remain scarce and outmatched by demand. Vacancy rates tell one story, rent checks tell another. Short-term rental limits kick the legs out from speculative spreadsheets. Owners either dump inventory at discounts or push costs onto long-term tenants. Tourism swings make coastal condos volatile. A weak season turns cash flow negative fast. And when the guests disappear, the fixed costs don't. Insurance tensions intensify near cliffside erosion zones, where riders and exclusions multiply. Homes by canyons face special fire and wind requirements that inflate premiums. Newer master-planned suburbs add utilities and mellow-roofs fees that act like a second mortgage. The stack is relentless. The premium becomes permanent. The postcard is flawless, but the monthly burn never stops. It compounds. Like a tide that never recedes, it climbs over your budget line, one quiet inch at a time. Here's the mini payoff. San Diego's beauty operates like a subscription. You never finish paying for the view. You just authorize a bigger charge next year. And if your income stumbles, the city doesn't blink. And the billing cycle continues, automated and unforgiving. Number 2, Santa Barbara. If Paradise had a toll booth, it would look like Santa Barbara's closing table. You don't just buy a home here, you buy the right to keep paying for it in perpetuity. The transaction is the toll. The monthly is the penalty. Spanish Revival corridors sell a spotless aesthetic. Montecito's estates broadcast status. Microclimates keep the horizon clear while the ledger clouds over. The charm is curated. The cost is compulsory. The reason the dream phrase is simple. Almost no buildable land, rigid zoning, and a disaster map that punishes proximity. Hillsides, canyons, and coastlines chop usable parcels into fragments. Permits crawl. Density gets throttled. Inventory stays starved. Buyers and renters fight over crumbs, while prices climb into a financial chokehold. Land use rigidity turns scarcity into extreme overvaluation. Luxury cash sets the comps. Wages don't move that fast. A new record sale becomes the new baseline, and every normal earner gets pushed further out. The result is a ladder with missing rungs. You don't climb it, you get priced off it. Insurance turns predatory after fire seasons and debris flows. Fire zone surcharges stack up. Non-renewals hit homes near burn scars. Carriers steer owners into the fair plan and high-risk layers with limited coverage. And the private mitigation, defensible space, hardening, clearing, lands squarely on you. The cost doesn't ensure your lifestyle, it ensures your survival. After a burn, flood risk rises, so the bill rises with it. Drainage studies, erosion controls, and new codes arrive as unfunded mandate. The policy you had last year isn't the policy you're offered this year. Premium becomes a moving target that always moves up. Meanwhile, the service economy runs on long-distance commutes from inland cities. Workers burn hours and fuel just to keep the beachfront machine functioning. That strain bleeds into businesses. Downtown leases spike, margins collapse, and storefronts churn. The streets look elegant while the tenants turn over. Rental vacancy stays low. Rent burdens push past critical thresholds. You pay more for less space and less security. Tourism adds pressure. Hotel seasons displace locals as short-term lodging soaks up options that should be housing. When visitors surge, locals lose inventory and pay for the privilege. The view is non-negotiable. Your budget is. That asymmetry defines the market. Beauty holds the line. Households take the hit. Here's the mini payoff. Santa Barbara isn't selling homes. It sells eligibility. If you aren't elite capital, the math throws you out. The city stands like a gated spreadsheet where the code only accepts one entry: surplus wealth. And the larger the canvas, the harsher that filter becomes, turning scarcity into a system and the system into a wall. Number 3, San Francisco. Vacancy is now the echo. San Francisco still looks invincible from a distance, but up close the shine is cracking into costs you can't outrun. The dream has hit a wall. Architectural drama frames every street, iconic bridges, sharp skylines, and culture that once justified any premium. Museums, restaurants, and views still sell the myth of permanence. But the bill for that myth has become unsustainable. Downtown is unraveling. Office vacancy drags foot traffic down, retail exits stack up, and safety concerns scare off the casual spender who kept the core alive. Taxes don't bend. HOA dues don't blink. The premium stays high while the benefits drain away, creating a financial chokehold that punishes households every month. Condos carry elevated monthly dues that climb year over year. Then come special assessments for seismic retrofits, unavoidable and expensive. Older buildings face insurance hikes that re-rate risk upward and leave owners paying more for shrinking coverage. You don't own security, you rent it, at a higher price every cycle. Conversions were supposed to save the core, but office to residential is slow and costly, so inventory stays mismatched. Sellers trim list prices to lure you in, yet carrying costs, taxes, dues, insurance, keep suffocating. The ledger bleeds even when the asking price softens because the monthly outflow never does. And then the city levies its lifestyle tax. Parking is punishing. Childcare devours paychecks. The school lottery turns family planning into a gamble with bad odds and high stress. Daily life becomes a stack of fees and friction that wear down even strong incomes. The cost of living is a relentless metronome. Outmigration of higher earners after 2020 has stabilized, but at elevated levels. The spending base left thinner, and the city feels it. Class A rentals throw concessions to fill units, while small landlords face stubborn expenses that don't budge. The spread is a warning sign. Top-tier asset owners can bend. Mom-and-pop owners break. The result is an economy that still performs on paper, while the streets tell a different story. Beauty remains, but the business model has stalled. Too much overhead, not enough yield, too many liabilities, not enough lifelines. Here's the mini payoff. San Francisco is now the epicenter of the collapse narrative, a luxury shell with cracks where optics mask a cash bleed. The skyline dazzles while bank accounts drain. It looks like wealth. It functions like a sieve. Further south, the formula mutates. Culture gives way to exclusivity and the ratchet tightens. The filter gets harsher, the costs get stickier, and the threshold for entry rises again. Number 4. Carmel. No street addresses, no neon signs, no mercy on your budget. Carmel by the Sea strips out the modern clutter, then charges a premium for the silence. The aesthetic is strict and the balance sheet is stricter. The dream looks timeless. The invoices don't. Boutique German-influenced facades and coastal Spanish cottages define the core. Big Sur sits down the road, and art galleries feed a constant stream of high-spend visitors. The town curates scarcity as a brand. You pay for the curation every month. The reason the numbers break is structural. Historic preservation rules limit additions. Strict codes freeze supply in place. Second home buyers set surreal comps that regular wages cannot chase. Inventory stays thin, prices detach from local incomes, and the entry ticket becomes a wall. This is engineered exclusivity, not a momentary spike. Seasonal occupancy collides with year-round costs. Property taxes don't hibernate in the off-season. Salt air chews through exterior materials, windows, stucco, hardware, forcing accelerated maintenance cycles. Insurance turns complex near coastal and wildfire zones with exclusions and riders that stack into a punishing premium. You're paying for risk even when the house sits empty. Short-term rental limits lock you into long holding periods. Returns flatten and liquidity evaporates. You can't pivot out fast when cash flow disappoints because the policy regime restricts the very tool investors use to backfill losses. The asset becomes an anchor that looks like a jewel. Retail depends on affluent tourists who spend heavily when they show up and vanish when they don't. That volatility rolls downhill. Workers commute from cheaper inland towns because local housing is out of reach, and that distance creates labor shortages. Businesses raise prices to cover staffing and rent, and you pay those markups at every register. The cost structure punishes both sides of the counter. Then come the old parcel quirks. Many homes rely on septic, with inspection, pumping, and replacement timelines that are expensive and unavoidable. Upgrades to meet modern standards add hidden premiums to any renovation plan. The pretty bungalow carries a mechanical backstory that drains capital on a fixed schedule. Coastal exposure piles on, fire risk to the east, erosion to the west, and carriers that limit coverage or walk away. You layer policies to approximate protection and still accept gaps. It's like buying an umbrella full of small holes during a storm. The risk bleeds into every forecast. The myth is curated, the bills are not. Every safeguard you add reveals another cost. The town's charm is non-negotiable. Your margin is. Number 5, Laguna Beach. Your lender tours your limits. Laguna Beach sells spectacle to the eye and a financial chokehold to the wallet. The dream has a velvet rope and a cover charge that never ends. Clifftop homes stare over coves while galleries feed constant demand. The school district signals status, so families stretch further, but the backdrop, steep terrain, narrow streets, delicate bluffs, turns everyday life into an engineering bill. Beauty is the hook. The invoices are the trap. Laguna sits in wildfire corridors while coastal erosion eats from the other side. That combination creates the most expensive insurance cocktail in California's playbook. Policies stack, riders multiply, coverage shrinks while premiums climb. You don't hedge risk here, you bankroll it. Hillside construction demands retaining walls, deep caissons, and drainage systems just to keep soil where it belongs. Then HOAs add fire hardening assessments, clearing vegetation, ember-resistant vents, upgraded roofing, because the risk map forces it. Every fix spawns a new invoice. The slope turns into a spreadsheet. Limited developable parcels manufacture bidding wars. Buildable lots are rare, and strict constraints throttle density. Accessory units look like relief on paper, but restrictions and neighborhood pushback neutralize them. Inventory stays anemic, comps climb, and overvaluation cements into the baseline. The ladder has rungs missing by design. Parking scarcity makes daily errands a cost center. Seasonal congestion clogs the canyon and the coast. Heavy tourist waves raise prices for goods and services while degrading livability for the people actually paying the mortgage. You cover the tab for a visitor economy that squeezes your time and your budget. Meanwhile, luxury new builds sit longer. Buyers balk at monthly outflows while sellers resist the haircut. Price cuts inch down, but carrying costs, insurance, taxes, utilities, HOA, stay punishing. The spread between list and life widens, and you pay that gap every single month. The gallery glow hides the red ink. Open house sparkle buries line items you can't dodge. It's a stage set that passes expenses from the cliff to your checking account. The result is simple. High status on the brochure, negative carry on the ledger. Laguna proves this market is no accident. Aesthetic scarcity manufactures financial scarcity on purpose. The terrain, the codes, the politics, the brand. All of it compacts supply and amplifies cost until solvency becomes a luxury. If you plan to buy here, treat the view like a subscription with surge pricing. The charge hits whether you visit the beach or not. In the Valley of Tech, scarcity swaps cliffs for corporate budgets, and the balance sheet gets even more unforgiving. Number 6. Palo Alto. Valley priced for yesterday's stock options, not today's reality. Palo Alto still trades on prestige, but the math has turned hostile. The dream has hit a wall. Tree-lined streets, elite schools, and bikeable neighborhoods present a polished promise. Proximity to Sandhill Road implies opportunity on tap. Access looks like insurance. But access doesn't pay your carrying costs. The premium is permanent. The tech slowdown exposed the fragility. Equity comp shrank. Buyers evaporated. List prices barely blinked. You get fewer bidders, weaker stock grants, and the same astronomical ask. That gap turns offers into landmines. The result is a brutal reckoning at the negotiating table. Then the house itself becomes the bill. Old housing stock demands electrification to meet new standards, seismic upgrades to address risk, and energy code compliance that forces rewiring, panel swaps, and insulation overhauls. Contractors quote high and book out months. Every upgrade unlocks 3 more upgrades. The renovation spiral is a financial nightmare. Strict zoning throttles multifamily supply. Height limits and density restrictions keep apartments scarce, so rents and prices harden at the top. A DUS were supposed to help, but they are a drop in an ocean of demand. Permitting friction delays projects, and the unit count barely moves. Scarcity stays engineered. Property tax law cements the divide. Under Proposition 13, incumbents benefit from older, lower assessments, while new buyers take the full brunt of today's inflated valuations. two neighbors, two tax bills, one widening inequality. It freezes turnover and punishes newcomers. Mobility dies, entrenchment wins. Meanwhile, the demand engine reset. Startup layoffs and hybrid work cut the urgency to live near the office. Commutes shrank to a few weekly trips, so proximity lost pricing power. Luxury inventory lingers with steeper price cuts, but the monthly outflow, taxes, insurance, utilities, still suffocates. Discounts do not equal affordability when holding costs crush you. Schools and services remain excellent, but they function like a lifestyle tax baked into every line item. Tutors, childcare, after-school enrichment, each one stacks. And parking, permits, and local fees add ambient friction to every project. Prestige meets arithmetic, and arithmetic wins. Look at the ledger. Too much legacy cost, too little flexibility, too much status, not enough solvency. If you're buying here, you need cash reserves that don't flinch. Mini payoff. Palo Alto is beauty wrapped in status, financed by a balance sheet that no longer clears. The brand looks invincible. The budget says otherwise. Shift from tech laurels to academic laurels with a similar affordability choke, where historic charm and institutional gravity preserve value while crushing the monthly line. Number 7. Pasadena. Craftsman blocks that look affordable until line items hit. Pasadena lures you with charm and then unloads the costs. The dream has a down payment and a permanent surcharge. Caltech and the Norton Simon anchor prestige. Gold line stations tie neighborhoods to the region. Mature trees cool streets and sell walkability. It reads like value. But the bill arrives fast and it's relentless. Older homes are the trapdoor. Seismic retrofits, foundation leveling, knob and tube rewiring, and panel upgrades stack it into a reconstruction marathon. Aging plumbing, clay sewer laterals, and brittle roofs turn move-in ready into an excavation of hidden liabilities. Insurance underwriters re-rate risk for old systems and hillside pockets so premiums climb while exclusions spread. You aren't buying peace of mind, you're renting it at a higher rate every year. Pasadena's revered historic overlays protect the craftsman streetscape, but they also restrict what you can demolish, expand, or modernize. Review boards slow projects. Design mandates force costly materials. Redevelopment gets throttled, inventory stays tight, and prices refuse to break even when buyers hesitate. Character is preserved. Affordability is sacrificed. Condo life isn't the escape. Mixed-use corridors carry HOA dues swollen by deferred maintenance on elevators, facades, and garages. Then special assessments hit, roof replacements, seismic strengthening, plumbing risers, puncturing monthly budgets without warning. You think you locked your payment. The building says otherwise. Renters face the squeeze from the other side. New luxury apartments add gyms, lounges, and roof decks, but not relief. Amenity fees creep. Base rents stick. Parking minimums push developers to build expensive structured stalls, and those costs flow straight onto the lease. If you need 2 spaces, the monthly jumps again. The result is a financial chokehold on households that should be thriving. Heat has become a line item. Triple-digit spills drive air conditioning into overdrive and send electricity bills spiking. Water allocations and tiered rates punish high usage during dry years, turning lawns and landscaping into a second utility bill. Utility volatility takes a steady budget and makes it wobble, month after month. And it gets worse. Each repair reveals 3 more, each permit triggers a new compliance checklist, and each insurance renewal shrinks coverage while raising price. It's like patching a dam while new leaks open around you. The roses smell like money leaving your account. Mini payoff. Pasadena turns preservation into a premium, collected monthly. You pay to maintain history, and history keeps invoicing you. The city's elegance is non-negotiable. Your cash flow is the collateral. The next coastline swaps craftsman charm for celebrity cliffside risk, where beauty doesn't just carry a surcharge, it dares your balance sheet to defy gravity. Number 8. Malibu. The zip code that sells immortality and invoices you for every storm. Malibu trades on legend, then hands you a ledger that never closes. The brand is eternal. The bills are immediate. Cinematic coastline, private beach access, and architectural trophies define the pitch. Glass pavilions, cantilevered decks, gates that whisper status. But prestige doesn't neutralize exposure. The Pacific is the view and the threat. Every wave tests your solvency. Fire, flood, mudslide, and coastal erosion converge on the same parcels. Carriers pull back or hike premiums. Insurers retreat. You get steered into the fair plan with hard caps that don't cover a total loss. So you layer excess coverage or gamble on uncovered risk. Either path extracts cash. The safety net is thin and expensive. Then disaster strikes and time becomes the enemy. Post-fear or post-storm rebuilds trigger code upgrades. Sprinklers, ignition-resistant siding, elevated foundations, geology reports, slope stability tests, and drainage modeling stall the timeline. Shoreline armoring debates drag on as agencies argue over walls, revetments, and retreat. Months turn into years. Carry costs don't pause, they compound. The result is brutal. Some properties sit unsellable without steep price cuts because buyers can't price the insurance, can't time the permits, and can't underwrite the risk. Listings age on the market, the comps fracture, even cash buyers demand discounts to offset uncertainty. Liquidity drains out of the cliff. And the legal grind adds another blade. Short-term rental battles flip the revenue model on and off. Coastal access litigation challenges gates, stairs, and use rights. Compliance turns into a moving target with penalties that sting. Each win is partial. Each loss is a bill. Ownership becomes a courtroom hobby no one enjoys. Meanwhile, resiliency isn't free. Backup power systems, battery walls, and switchgear for fire outages inflate the capex. Private road associations bill for storm washouts, culvert replacements, slope stabilization. You pay whether your house is at the top or the bottom, because the road is the lifeline and the invoice is shared. Annual spend ratchets up with every winter. Fame doesn't rescue the balance sheet. Celebrity neighbors don't offset hazard maps. The sea, the canyons, the bureaucracy, they all collect. And they collect on schedule. The lifestyle looks like a trophy. The cash flow reads like a warning label. Mini payoff? Malibu's beauty is a high-wire act over a financial canyon. The view thrills. The drop is unforgiving. One bad season, one denial letter, one stalled permit. And the numbers snap. Inland vineyards look safer. The spreadsheet says otherwise. The next chapter shows how romantic acreage and tasting room gloss still turn into a negative yield vintage when the risk and overhead collide. Number 9, Napa. Napa promises passive income in a bottle. The returns evaporate in overhead. The dream sells yield. The ledger delivers a brutal reckoning. Rolling vineyards line the hills. Michelin-starred restaurants fill weekends. Resorts polish every edge. It feels like money on display. But hospitality sheen hides a balance sheet that bleeds in slow motion. The reason? Agricultural zoning and strict land use rules freeze supply and push values beyond local earning power. Parcels are protected for vines, not density, so housing stays scarce and expensive. And climate risk ratchets operating costs. More crop insurance, more heat mitigation, more irrigation management. The premium becomes permanent. Hospitality volatility turns plans into liabilities. Fires and smoke taint seasons wipe out bookings and damage vintages that were supposed to carry the year. Tourism dips ripple through tasting rooms, boutique hotels, and event spaces. Short-term rentals swing from full to empty, and when occupancy drops, the fixed costs don't. STR bets become balance sheet shock, and now the rural risk tax. Homes in the wildland-urban interface face surging insurance quotes, with limited coverage and higher deductibles. Some carriers pull back, others price policies to the ceiling. Water rights get scrutinized, wells need drilling or deepening, pumps demand backup power, and filtration systems add upkeep. Each step inflates the monthly, even before you pour a single tasting. Labor tightens the vice. Kitchens, housekeeping, vineyard crews, every segment struggles to hire, so wages rise and schedules shrink. Margins compress while service expectations climb. Luxury buyers still pay high prices for estates and view lots, but they don't fix cash flow. They set comps that make entry harder and operations tougher. Financing adds another constraint. Farm and estate properties often fall outside conventional underwriting. Lenders require larger down payments, shorter terms, stricter reserves, and covenants tied to agricultural income. Rates come higher, fees stack thicker, and loan timelines drag longer. The money costs more before it even hits your account. The tasting room feels rich, the ledger feels empty. Every wine club sign-up masks a spike in insurance. Every sold-out dinner is chased by payroll pressure and utility surcharges. It's a vineyard-shaped hourglass where time drains your liquidity grain by grain. Rentals don't save you. Off-season softness leaves units sitting empty while cleaning, landscaping, waste, and security keep billing. Event cancellations strand sunk costs. Inventory looks prized on paper, but carry costs dominate in practice. Mini payoff, Napa's beauty. Yerti yields status, not solvency, for most newcomers. You buy an identity, not income. The math accepts only deep reserves and patience that doesn't blink. The final stop is the poster child of coastal glamour, where the brand is global. The demand is endless, and the financial trap is perfected down to the last fee. Number 10, Santa Monica. The beach town with an urban soul, and a monthly cost that drains both. Santa Monica sells lifestyle like a luxury brand and bills you like a utility. The dream has a concierge. The invoice has no ceiling. Iconic pier. Clean streets. Jobs tied to studios and startups. Amenities stack. Bike paths. Farmers markets. Restaurants that anchor a national reputation. It looks like a safe bet because the city feels managed, but the cash flow tells a harsher truth. Rent control collides with shiny new towers. Small landlords face maintenance on aging systems, climbing property taxes, and insurance quotes that punish coastal exposure, while tenants face fees, surcharges, and scarcity. Both sides suffocate. Neither side wins. It's a stalemate that extracts from everyone. Parking scarcity turns daily life into a toll road. Elevated shoplifting concerns and storefront theft spook retailers in key corridors. Business turnover follows as margins thin and leases reset higher. The brand premium erodes while baseline costs refuse to budge. You pay more to get less of what you moved for, and the buildings by the beach carry their own tax. Insurance and HOA dues in seaside towers spike as salt air and wind chew through stucco, railings, and mechanicals years ahead of schedule. Corrosion accelerates capital expenditures. Reserves get drained. Special assessments arrive, and your fixed costs start moving like surf. The reason? Corporate tech pullbacks. Hiring pipelines that once justified sky-high rents and sale prices have throttled down. Fewer relocations, fewer new incomes chasing the same limited housing. Demand softens at the edges while the carrying costs anchor at the top. The math stops penciling even for high earners. Short-term rental restrictions squeeze speculative plays. The quick cash model loses oxygen, forcing owners to accept thinner returns or unload. Meanwhile, Class A vacancies sit longer than they should for a market bearing this brand. Yet operating costs, staffing, security, utilities, stay unrelenting. Buildings need revenue, renters need relief. Neither gets it, and it gets worse. Traffic friction from regional commuters steals time. Permitting timelines for even small improvements drag. Service fees stack on top of already stretched budgets. It's like running on sand. You spend more energy and move less distance. That's the daily financial reality. Yet the brand still dazzles. Sunset screensaver skies, boardwalk energy, neighborhoods that photograph like magazine spreads. The story sells itself, even as the ledger screams. Mini payoff. Santa Monica sells a $5 million view with a permanent burn rate. The spreadsheet never stops bleeding. You can buy the ocean breeze and the urban edge, but the monthly cost climbs like the tide, and it never, ever retreats. Beauty here functions like a luxury subscription. Views included, solvency not guaranteed. The model is simple. You pay forever, and the price escalates. If you plan to move, build the full cost stack before you sign anything. Insurance, HOAS, special assessments, utilities, commute time, climate risk, and the hidden fees that show up after closing. If the math doesn't love you back, walk. You need a plan, not a postcard. Run worst-case numbers, stress test your income, and assume premiums climb. If you found this useful, like the video, drop your take in the comments, and subscribe. This is just one chapter in the housing market story.